Hey YouTube, this is Mr. Penguin, and we're playing Asagao Academy. This is a dating sim. Never thought I'd be playing a dating sim ever, like at all. But I've had a request because I'm enjoying watching other people play this. I know / watch a lot of the YouTubers that are involved in this game. We'll get there in a second. But I've been enjoying watching other people play it, and someone said you have to see the Satchel playthrough, the Satchel story. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that today. Chapter 1. Hana. It is so quiet. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available service. Blah, space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It's been almost an hour, in fact, and he hadn't looked at me once. Devoid of any conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on the pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth over and over. Now and again, I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Is that what that's called? The water between Japan and China and Korea? Is that the Sea of Japan? Why does Japan get that ocean? What did they do? Eventually, this rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons on the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3. The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered to the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. That's a little bit weird from things I know later. This one doesn't seem like the type to poorly sew anything on any of his clothes. So you're a first year then? He folded his newspaper neatly and set it in his lap and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him seem like he was almost sparkling? Me? He glanced around the compartment empty beside us and laughed. Oh, no, I'm not a first year. I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning on metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing myself to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? The boy frowned and picked at the hem of my cotton's... I picked. That would be really weird if some dude was just like sitting across from me, just leaned over and started picking at the hem of my skirt. I think I'd be a little put off. A little. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. I took a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. Mouth fishing? It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get too many of those. I removed my acceptance letter from my front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. The boy took it, studied it, and handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Well then, Hana, I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hiccuped a response, he was already gone from the compartment. Where did he go? Because we're still in motion, right? Judging by the background here. I stared out the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name. And I never got his. The train settled at the station and I filed out the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April and the last frost of winter had come and gone. You're starting school in April? Is that a Japan thing? I don't know these things. The trees were already green and their leaves were shivering in the occasional gusts weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked along the road with the swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. I held my suitcase tightly in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for me the first time in my life, thankful that I'd owned that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxford clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. There we go. I was like skipping words a little bit. So many nights I lay awake imagining what it would be like to walk from the train station to Asagao Academy this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow, everything would magically be different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I'd seen in its pamphlets. This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people. The people are not blue, right? Their jackets are blue? Just a little clarity. I bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate. The excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate with great effort creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. The rest of the group shifted into motion. I followed along, a sheep in the herd. As my stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl! I turned a few feet away. A small group of a few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. The boys were a few feet away, not I was a few feet away from them. Order is important! The order is important to things. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? Just switch seamlessly from the wrong accent that I gave them into the correct one. Hot shame crawled down my back. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against the gravel. I live in California. We don't do cicadas because, I don't know, this is desert, it's just gross, it's hot today. It's been hot all week. My hair, it wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign on the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over. Nice little move her from the side to the center.
You must be my roommate!
Voice acting. I don't have to say your lines sometimes. I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle.
What?
I'd be okay with that. That's not what the line is. Me?
Bingo.
Of course, you silly goose. Let me guess. Room 325? I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with a list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed. I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? When I found out my roommate was... sorry, she's a little bit less tense. When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. Got some serious pro-tag syndrome going on. I'm sorry. A what? When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I hadn't spent more than 5 minutes on campus and I was already being mocked. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slacked from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Get used to the worried expression. It's gonna be there all game. Then she began to laugh again.
Oh, no.
No. It's great. I'm sorry. I'm talking over her. I'm gonna like try to match up my face with the voice acting so it's maximum awkward.
No. It's great. I'm sorry.
No, it's great. I'm sorry.
Getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh.
Oh, gosh.
I'm Sasaki. You must be Hana.
Gosh. Oh, gosh. I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. I hope you're not mad. Mai started walking towards the dorm's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check in at the front desk already? No, I didn't know I was supposed to. Good, they'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I got brought an extra bag of stuff to decorate our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. Just the person just decorating the whole room. Actually, I would be fine with that because I really don't personally care. Just decorate it however you want. As long as my bed is fine, that's fine. I have my bed, put my own sheets on it. That's all I need. Maybe a desk. I think I had a laptop. That's totally fine. But I did wait to string the lights. I thought we could do it together, you know? She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Not dialogue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. I'm gonna leave in the voice cracking, because that sounds like something Hana would do. She held the door open for me, and I hurried inside. Girl, this is just... my eyes. Ugh. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were more often than not, "How was your break? And look how tan you got. Damn, girl." That was bad. Damn, girl, you damn girl? Cause damn, girl. It seemed like everyone knew each other. As I followed Mai inside, she led me through the maze of students and up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm floor looked the same as the last, narrow, white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked on the front of each, numbers rising as we climbed. Are we on? Yeah, floor 3, number 325. So floor 325. So the bottom floor is floor 1, 2. Got it. I can count. You're not missing anything with the campus tour, I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year, and he's like totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in a weird squeaky voice of his. He has a squeaky voice. Good to know. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this console me. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Mai stopped in front of a door numbered 325. Here we are. A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The hell's with the word potpourri? The walls, like the hallway, were a soft, powdery pink. Mai already faced them. Oh, so many feelings just in the description of the walls as defaced. Defaced them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. You missed the Oxford comma there. Some of the photos were cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. Alvin Stein. Oh god, the tortured souls! The Only My Guitar Understands Me World Tour. There's only one guitar. So he's obviously the only actual tortured soul. The other guys are just posers. A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. 2 desks with wooden chairs. So it must be like on the other side of this view is where the other desk is. Someone's gotta have their desk right next to the bunk bed? That's so awkward. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know was horribly itchy. I must have grimaced because Mai quickly smiled at me. I bought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over break with Mom and... with break, and Mom got really mad at me because I brought 5 bags, but we're only there for a week. She laughed and pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me.
Perfection.
I want to say her lines again, but no, don't do it. There, that's much better. Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase on the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. So she gets this one radio and like, poof, that's her entire life. And then the rest of this is obviously Mai's. There's more than a few pictures here, so I assume some of those are Mai's too. Mai opened the curtains and sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I slid the now empty suitcase under the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here, a small town called Amararisu. Probably haven't heard of it. Why did I try to roll the R there? I set the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed and sat beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Oh, did you go to a different boarding school, or...? No, I went to public school down the street from my house.
Really?
Public school? What was that like? What were the students like? Did you have a lot of friends? I always went to private schools. My parents work a lot. My dad works overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Oh, hey, what's that? I removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was setting it on an unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I assumed were provided for me.
Aww.
Wow, it's so pretty. I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights. Let me go get them. I went to her desk and why did I point? Just pointing. Opened the drawer and pulled out a long tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. She grabbed a container of push pins, then pulled her wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together we pinned the lights around the perimeter of the room. Clearly not the perimeter of the room. What was the train ride over? How was the train ride over? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. I was in a compartment with some guy and... Some guy, huh? Was he cute? Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't even get his name. Maya seemed disappointed for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out to me if you see him again. Oh, okay. Once we finished stringing the lights, Maya climbed down from her chair and brushed her hands together triumphantly.
Yeah!
Done! Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. What am I doing? I think I'm doing Hana's voice. Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. There's this ramen place down the street from campus that's like out of this world. But the school only lets us leave campus on weekends. I walked over to the window. We could go today because it's Sunday. It's pretty nice out, but I guess you might want to go out. You might want to go to the caf since you just got here. We could. She was suddenly interrupted by her own enthusiastic laughter. Oh my gosh, Mimi Santos totally just tripped outside and fell on her face. I saw it. Oh, is that mean to laugh? Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well, anyways, let's go eat. I'm totally starved. She led me out of the room before I even had a chance to respond. The cafeteria was buzzing with students excited for the new year. It's April. Why? It's April! The only people as nervous as looking as I felt were the tables of skittish, wide-eyed first years. I stepped in the line behind Mai, taking an empty plastic tray. Not to sitting down yet. Focus, one thing at a time. We shuffled through, asking for helpings from sulky cafeteria workers when we passed something that looked good. Hold on. Not quite a sneeze. With full trays, Mai led me straight to a table in the back with a few students who were already sitting. Mai sat down and I took a seat across from her. Hi, Mai. How was your break? It was good. I went to Italy and Spain. Dad fell off a jet ski and broke his ankle.
Uh-huh.
It's better now, though. Oh, well, that's nice. I expected to be introduced, but the girl turned to a group of friends and Mai turned back to me. No introductions necessary. People, they exist. There's girls. She began to assault her food with a fork and tell me in a practically minute-by-minute account about her fleeting romance last summer with a boy she met on a beach that didn't go any further than a few salty kisses. Salty because they were at the beach? So the romance lasted literally like hours? Go Mai. I sat back and let Mai talk. For the first time since arriving on campus, I felt like I was finally able to breathe. I picked up my Brussels sprouts and studied Mai as she spoke. The more she talked, the more I began to notice small details about her.
Well...
She had a high songbird voice.
What?
Sorry, can't. She was dynamic, her face twisting this way and that into exaggerated expressions as she spoke. She laughed often. She imitated people in wildly unflattering voices, seemingly unrelated to her actual opinion of them. Most noticeably, she talked. A lot. I didn't find this particularly annoying as it filled the silence and she hardly ever asked questions that required my full attention. Perfect! I fit in. I know how you feel, Hana. I know exactly how you feel. Don't, just let other people talk. Just ask them questions. People who love talking about themselves, so easy to get along with. Just as Maya was rounding off a shockingly detailed account of the time she accidentally walked in on her friend's older brother in the act of changing, a flash of familiar green caught my eye. I glanced over. Hey, that's him. Huh? Who? I leaned across the table to whisper just in case he could hear me through the ambient chatter of the lunchroom. The boy from the train. That's him.
What?
Jared? Yeah, with the weird green jacket and swoopy hair. Swoopy is exactly the way to describe Jared's hair. Exactly. He just picked up his tray and was walking past us when something seemed to catch his eye. Oh, you. I looked up at him, suddenly realizing he was talking to me. Hana, I met you on the train. How are things settling down for you? Really well. I found my roommate and she's been helping me out. Oh, sorry. I just went back. I gestured to Mai, who was thunderstruck. In fact, looking around, everyone was. People stopped eating to turn and stare at Jared and me. My shoulders bunched around my neck. Well, if you ever need any help, I'll be around. Third year, right? I nodded.
All right.
Some of my friends are in that year. Of course, they can't compare to me, but I'll give them the heads up to look out for you. He flashed a dazzling smile, then winked. It's the least I could do for such a cute girl. Well, I'll see you around. I watched a torrent of thoughts raging through my head as he took a seat next to a bunch of guys who were all wearing the same jacket. That's Jared! She tore her eyes from him and looked at me.
He's so cute.
He's so dreamy! He's the most beautiful guy in school.
Oh, Jared.
I can't believe he just looked at me. I looked at Mai, her cheeks were glowing an indecent pink. Oh, sort of like your hair, honey. Not saying about your hair, you seem a little sensitive about your hair, but it's kind of pink. Why do they all wear those jackets? Aren't all the guys supposed to wear the blue blazers as part of the uniform? No, they're allowed to. You know Jared? That girl turned back around and was looking at me with sudden interest. Did I know him? I only talked to him on the train for a few minutes, so not really. We weren't friends or anything. Looking around, Mai and this girl weren't the only ones who were interested. Everybody seemed to be listening in. They seemed so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white lie couldn't hurt. I mean, I kind of know him. He seemed like he was okay with talking to me. I wanted to go with I guess so. I think Hano honestly would say, not really. But, let's do it. I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Because I would totally just pretend everybody's my friend. Even if they're my acquaintance, I just like met them. Like I met them on the train and then they said hi. I'm like, oh yeah, I know them. We're cool. We're totally cool. Yeah. The girl looked me up and down as if she were inspecting a piece of furniture for purchase. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself earlier, did I? I'm Mimi. Nice to meet you. So how did you meet Jared? Oh, come off it, Mimi. Jared's not interested. Mai and Mimi stared at each other for a few seconds, having some kind of silent mental battle all the way. All we need is like the little anime lightning going on here, and it'd be perfect. Then Mimi turned away and continued to eat. Sorry, it was clear that she was just trying to get in with you for her own agenda, so I cut her off. Get in with me? Why? Well, you asked me about those guys in their jackets, right? Those are the Normal Boots Club jackets. Those are their Normal Boots Club jackets. That's the sentence that I'm trying to say. They're what? What's Normal Boots Club? Here we go! It's the guys, the dudes, the romantic options. All of them, right? Pretty much. No, we're missing a couple, I think. Sure, we're missing a couple. It's a club we have here at school. It's like totally exclusive and full of only the coolest students. They get together and play video games or something. That one right there is John, also known as JonTron. His bird's name is Jacques. John is also the president of the drama club here at school. Next name is PBG. He and John form the Normal Boots Club together. PBG is one of the best soccer players on our team. Okay. And then there's Gerard. People call him the completionist because he's obsessed with completing things. He has the biggest itty-bitty kitty collection I've ever seen. Next name is Jared, also known as Pro Jared. He's a model. And then there's Satchbag, but everyone calls him Satch. He's like crazy smart. Those guys over there are Paul, Nick, and Josh. They write a column in the school newspaper called Continue. Paul, the one standing up, is the student council president. And the guy on the end there is Shane. He knows more about video games than anyone, ever. Wait, go back, future me, go back. This is, Normal Boots is, for anyone who doesn't know, they are a group of people who make YouTube videos, and all of them have different channels on YouTube that cover games in different ways. And I'll explain as they come up, as we meet them, kind of what their channels do. But that was like the overview of just who they are, what they look like. Those drawings are really good. Those are like crazy good drawings. She exhaled a dreamy sigh into her mashed potatoes. So, how would someone, join the Normal Boots Club? You don't choose the boots, Hana. The boots choose you. What does that even mean? You have to be presented with the boots to be in the club, and they're like super selective. What are the boots? The club has Boots statue. It's like the one on their patches, but gold-plated. It's their mascot, I guess? They do this weird initiation ritual with it. Ritual? I hear there's a room filled with candles and they wear these totally creepy robes during initiation. This year 2 girl said she saw it once and they were like chanting around the boots and then it sounded like they were talking backwards. That doesn't sound like anything in particular. That's really creepy. I don't believe her, and even if it's true, I don't care that they're a cult because they're all really hot. Do they have a lot of friends? Yeah, tons of friends. I'd say they're the most popular kids in school. I mean, everybody in the school totally looks up to them. I bet they could get any girl in school, too. Or boy, for that matter. Is that a hint at a sequel? Is there gonna be a sequel to this game where you each play as a guy? I'd totally play that game. I'd play the shit out of that game. Hey, you gonna eat your cake? I shook my head and pushed the plastic tray across the table to her. The remainder of lunch, I listened to Mai talk about Jared through mouthfuls of half-dissolved frosting. That would be the perfect day! Back in the dorm, I sorted through a pile of textbooks the school left for me. My radio was playing a poppy tune, equal parts music to static. Mai fervently scribbled in a notebook at her desk, hunched over with strikingly poor posture. Hey, Mai. She didn't bother to look up. Am I supposed to have a textbook for History 309? She shuffled through the papers on her desk before producing a thick textbook. A demure man with a powdered wig frowned at me from the cover. Yeah, this one. I sighed. I don't have that one. The school must have missed it. I shrugged and set the textbook back in her pile. They must have a bunch. They have a bunch at the library. You can go check one out. Where's the library? I riffled through her notebook and wrote something down. She tore the page out and handed me a crudely drawn map. Oh, okay. Well, I'll be back in a bit. Okay, we're gonna, no, don't pull up the map, the thing yet. No, we don't want to go yet. We're just gonna close the episode here. Oh my god, we haven't even gotten into the plot yet, but we're about to meet my interest. My eye has been caught, and also my plot senses are tingling because the person who wants me to do this has a good eye, ear, mind for plot, and I don't know, he hasn't seen anyone play this, if people he's seen play the game, which I think is like 2. But we'll see. I wonder what makes this plot more intricate or exciting than any of the other plots I've seen. We're gonna find out probably over the, not next episode, maybe not the episode after that, but definitely next week. Next week we're gonna, because I'm just gonna go through this whole game. It's probably gonna be several episodes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll check you guys in the next video.